In this video, we're going to go over number 2 from the chapter 2 review. So we're given this polynomial here, and we're told that I is a 0 of that polynomial, and then our job is to pick which of these are factors of that polynomial. And so the key is knowing that, okay, if x equals I, if x equals I is one of my zeros, then x minus I is one of my factors, because that's just moving that equation around. Now I also know that the only way I can get that I here, since I started with only real numbers, no i's, the only way that x equals I could be one of my answers is if I took a square root, because I is the square root of -1. And when I took that square root, I had to have a plus and a minus. So I also know that x plus I is a factor. And so if I know those two factors, like by definition of being a factor, that means that it divides evenly into this thing. So if because it's hard for me just to try to factor this. I'm not sure how I would start that. But I know that these are factors, so they must divide evenly into this. So I will start by doing that, dividing this whole thing by these. And it's going to make my life much easier if I multiply these two things together first. So I've got x minus I times x plus I. If I do all the multiplication there, I should get x squared plus 1. And hey, that's one of my choices, so that's fun. Now to find the rest of them, again, I need to divide the original given polynomial by this. So let's go ahead and do that. So x squared plus 1, and then 5x to the 4th plus 9x cubed plus 3x squared plus 9x minus 2. I look at my first term. What do I have to multiply this first term on the outside by to turn it into this first term? That would be 5x squared. Distribute that to the outside, 5x to the 4th plus 5x squared for multiplying by the 1 here. Then I subtract. This first one should cancel out. Now remember, I'm subtracting, so it's 3x squared minus 5x squared. And that's going to be a negative 2x squared. But remember, I really have, sometimes we might miss this guy here. We're just combining like terms. There's no like term for him to be combined with, so I need to just bring it straight down. So that's 9x cubed, and same with the other terms. Plus 9x minus 2. And now I do it again. What do I have to multiply this first term on the outside by to turn it into this first term here? 9x. So plus 9x. Distribute to the outside. 9x times x squared is 9x cubed. 9x times 1 is 9x. And subtract and combine my like terms. First term cancels out. Nothing to combine the 2x squared with. The 9x also cancels out. Nothing to combine the minus 2 with. What do I have to multiply this by to turn it into this? Negative 2. And then distribute negative 2x squared minus 2. When I subtract, everything will cancel out, which I knew it would because we knew that this thing was a factor, which again means it will divide evenly in here, no remainder. Now the whole reason we did that is because I don't know how to factor this entire thing. So if I can divide out two known factors, now I'm left with something that I can possibly factor further. And so I'm just going to take this thing here and factor it further. There's different methods we could use. I really prefer just guess and check here, just thinking logically through what we're doing here. I'm looking for two things that multiply together to give me this. Well, the first two terms have to multiply together to give me 5x squared. There's only two friendly numbers that can do that, 5x and x. Usually when we think about factoring, we're thinking about using integers only. And now I need two numbers that multiply together to give me -2. Well, there's only two options, -2 and 1 or -1 and 2. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, it's got to be, -2 or -1, +2 or +1, some combination there. So when I'm doing this, I have to think about this middle term. When I FOIL this out and I do my outer and my inner, I've got to combine to get a +9x. Well, the only way that's possible is if I do the +2 here, because then it's going to be 10x, and the -1 here, because then 10x minus 1x is 9x. So here's my factors, 5x minus 1, there it is, x plus 2, there it is. All right, that's number 2.